With Smart Shots, you can shoot like a pro with the push of a button. You can easily set up highly dynamic camera moves and then let Solo take care of the hard work. This is part of what makes Solo a truly smart drone. Once you have Solo in the air, you can simply tap the movie slate icon to access Smart Shots. Currently, there are 4 different ones to choose from. Let's start with Selfie. Solo will fly up and away, expanding your surroundings and revealing more of the world around you. To execute a selfie, simply orient Solo in front of you with the camera pointed at yourself. Next, tap the selfie icon from the list of Smart Shots, adjust any settings you'd like, and then simply let Solo nail the shot. As with any Smart Shot, tap the fly button to exit selfie and resume direct control of Solo. Next on the shot list is Cable Cam. With this Smart Shot, you set up a virtual cable in the air between 2 points in space with the ability to change your camera's altitude, pan, and tilt, resulting in a complex cinematic move with perfect framing at both ends of the shot. We'll start by tapping the Cable Cam icon in the Smart Shots menu, and then we're prompted to set our A point. Fly to where you want your shot to start, pan and tilt until you're happy with the framing, and then press A. At that point, we're prompted to press B at the ending point. So I'm going to position Solo to where I want the shot to end, and then we'll press B when we're there. Okay, so once I have my framing I like for my end shot, I simply press the B button, and we have now set up our cable. Now that our cable is set, you can either use the right stick to fly back and forth along the cable, or press the play button to go back to the A point. Now that I'm back down to the starting point of my shot, I can see if I want to make any adjustments to the way the camera behaves or the speed of the shot. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit here, press play in the opposite direction, and watch Solo execute a flawless shot. Okay, now let's try an orbit. This allows you to lock the camera on a subject and move along a circular path around it, making one of the trickiest shots to pull off manually easy to do. You can also change the size of the radius as well as the camera's altitude to add an extra dimension to an already amazing shot. To start, we're going to select Orbit from the shot list, and as you see it pulls out here, I can see what I'm targeting with Orbit, which is by default about 65 feet away from Solo. But what I want to do is I want to target in on that tree, so I can just tap my finger on the map and I can move the map around until that dot is right over the tree that I want to target. I let go, and then I'm just going to press A to set my orbit point. Now what you can see is that it's tilted down to the bottom of the tree. So what I'm going to do is use the tilt tab on my controller to change the altitude of my orbit point. So I'm going to change the altitude. I'm going to tilt to where the top of the tree is just in frame. I can tap on my full screen now, and I can click on orbit right. As it's orbiting around this tree, what I'm going to do now is increase my altitude and pull away from the orbit to make the orbit circle bigger. So I'm going to push up on my left stick, and I'm going to pull down on the right stick, which makes my orbit circle bigger. You can actually see the size of the orbit increasing on the satellite view. And as the altitude increases, the gimbal automatically tilts down at my target. So if you want to speed up or slow down your orbit, you can simply go into the options and adjust your cruise speed, which you can do in real time during an orbit. Now as you see, my orbit's moving faster. When you're done with the shot, simply press fly to exit back into direct control. Finally, we have the Follow Smart Shot. Go completely hands-free as Solo automatically follows you. When you tap the follow icon, Solo is going to rotate and tilt the camera to point down at your mobile device's location, which needs to remain within Wi-Fi range of Solo's controller. Once you're in follow, you can swipe out from the right and see the location that Solo is following you from. I can use my right stick to move Solo around that circle depending on what angle I want Solo to be following me from. I can also use the left stick to adjust the altitude at which Solo will be following me. Finally, back on the right stick, I can push up or down to increase or decrease the distance from which Solo is going to follow me. Once you've set your distance, angle, and altitude, simply move around and have Solo follow you, keeping you right in the center of the frame. Alternatively, you can actually press the orbit left or orbit right, and as you move, Solo will be orbiting around you. The last thing to note with follow mode is that you can change from follow me to look at me by tapping on the look at me icon. What that does is stop solo in a fixed position in space so that it will not move through the air, yet as you move around, solo will pan and tilt the camera to keep you perfectly centered in frame. As with any smart shot, simply press the fly button to resume normal flight. We're all super excited to see the creative ways people use solo smart shots. In future videos, we'll get deeper into the specific shots and show you tips on how to get the most out of them. As time goes on, we'll be adding more features to the existing smart shots and even adding new smart shots. So always make sure to keep your solo up to date. Until then, have fun and fly safe.